It's Sunday, March 25th, and this is Guy's Daily Drive. Welcome, everyone, to what is an unusual day for the Daily Drive. I don't usually, or I shouldn't say I don't usually, since I'm still pretty much new at doing this, but I never anticipated actually doing one of these on the weekend, because usually when I'm driving the car, I'm on my way to work, or on my way home from work, or, something along those lines, even though, well, I guess I've done a few on my way down to see Peter in Fredericksburg related to the Mac Pro. But this time, I'm on my way to pick up my other son at the job that he has on Sunday afternoon. And then we're going to go to the grocery store and pick up a few things related to the creation and consumption of the perfect food, burritos. Burritos are wonderful. But the main reason why I'm doing one of these today is that just a little while ago I got done recording the last bits of the MyMac Podcast number 700. And this is a significant number. I mean, that's when you figure that most podcasts kind of fade well under 100 episodes, then getting to 700, especially for a weekly show, that's pretty significant. So that's where we are, 700 shows. Even though I was not there at the beginning, a little bit of history for people that don't know. It was started in November, December, something like that, of 2004 with Tim Robertson and Chad Perry. The two of them did it together. I started doing segments for the show because I was writing for MyMac.com at the time. Around show 35 or so. And getting some sun here. Let me move that to there. That's better. And became a regular co-host of the show not long after the 100th show. So we're talking 2006, 2007. It was before Macworld 2007, the introduction of the iPhone. I was already part of the podcast at that point. So the way that I did the 700 show, now originally what I wanted to do was to get as many of the former and current hosts as possible, preferably at the same time, onto the podcast to talk about the history and stuff that they did and that they were interested in. And there was just no way to do it. Everyone is so very busy in different time zones. I mean, we're only talking about two different time zones here. There's British Summer Time and Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. British Summer Time currently is 5 hours ahead. So as I record this, it's almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon. British Summer Time, it is 10 p.m. over there. So we've got two people in that time zone, and then that's Gaz and David Cohen. And then Tim and myself here under the East Coast time. So, and plus also, Gaz was away on holidays, so, I certainly wasn't, you have to get back in time from your ski trip. to record a podcast. No, I wouldn't do that to anybody. So, yikes. Okay, so lovely drivers here in Northern Virginia. So instead, what I ended up doing was recording with Tim last night. And originally I was thinking it would be, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes as we went over some of the history. But that ends up, and I should have known, that ends up being impossible with Tim and myself. We ended up speaking, it was like for over an hour. So the podcast itself is going to be like really, really super long. Hey, it is what it is. And then that was for the center section, and Gaz and I got together to record the first and the third sections this afternoon, which makes for a really weird editing experience, because you've already got like all this content that's in one part of the show, and then you're like moving stuff around for other parts of the show that are either before or after the part that you just recorded, or something like that. So that's what was going on there. So much fun. It is fun to talk to Gaz, and it's fun to talk to David and Tim. The editing sometimes can be kind of a drag, and I've been doing it for a really, really long time with the MyMac Podcast, and sometimes it can really be a chore. But that's kind of what you do when you're creating content. Typically, any kind of content you're creating, there is going to be some kind of editing involved, where you're not taking like the entire thing of whatever it is you're doing and just slapping it on and saying, okay, well, that's good. A couple of exceptions would be doing a live cast, which I just started doing with the Mac to the Future Facebook page. Do that on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. You can find that Facebook Live under my name. And to a certain extent, something like this show. However, one of the things that Tim and I talked about last night was some of the different things that I'm doing now, and how much I've changed in the content that I create since I started doing the MyMac Podcast. I would never have been able to do something like this or something like Mac to the Future 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Recording with Gaz every week has given me the experience to, not let it bother me as much as far as recording stuff by myself, even though I don't think I'm particularly good at it. I think I'm usually much better with another person. But this is a little bit different. This is like just usually single topic stuff, where I'm just yammering about something I feel like yammering about. But there's going to be some changes coming up, and this will actually be probably one of the first shows to see that change. Now, one of the things that I had originally kind of wanted to do was record Gaz and myself on the MyMac show for video, and then release that as like on YouTube as a video podcast. But because of the length of that show and the way that we record it, that would be very, very difficult. So I'm kind of rethinking that. However, going in the other direction, taking video content that you've created, that's much shorter form, like this show. This is typically 10 to 15 minutes, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. And extracting the audio once, the minor bit of editing that I do for this show is done, and releasing the audio part of it as a podcast. That I can do. So it's going to be a question of how that's exactly going to work. I haven't heard back from Tim yet, but what I was thinking about was wondering if I could, or if I should, host it on the MyMac service. Tim owns his own servers, and a number of the shows on the MyMac Podcasting Network are on those servers. And Tim pays for all the bandwidth. Tim pays for basically all of it. Us content creators are really lucky in that regard, that we have someone who is not only willing to host the files, but give us the bandwidth and help us with some of the other technical issues. So, but as far as the MyMac podcast goes, other than uploading the file, I pretty much do everything else. I've always had trouble with the RSS feed. Tim and I were laughing about. But pretty much everything else I'm doing. I do the editing, I do the show graphic, put it into Dropbox, do the show notes, do the RSS feed, and then it just goes, Tim just uploads the RSS feed, or updates the RSS feed, and uploads the audio. So if I could go ahead and host these audio files related to the two video podcasts that I do, the Mac to the Future and Guy's Daily Drive, then Tim wouldn't have to worry about it, and all I'd have to do is host links to that content at mymac.com. The cost is minimal. It's like I could do this for under $10 at most of the major sites that do hosting. And certainly it's something I've been thinking about, because I would like to kind of take that next step and see if I can do some of this other stuff on my own, but we'll see. So that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking about extracting the audio from these video files and hosting them as separate podcasts, so that you don't have to go to YouTube and YouTube only to watch or listen to this stuff. The more avenues that you have for getting your content out, the better off you are. So that's where I'm at. You can contact me, Guy at mymac.com, Guy at mttfgo.com. I'm Mac Parrot on Twitter. Of course, Guy Searle on YouTube. You can see all my content there. Not only Guy's Daily Drive, but the Mac to the Future stuff that I've got like 50 plus episodes there that I've done. And I will see you all next time on Guy's Daily Drive. Thanks for watching.